Hello traders, so welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 178, in which we're gonna have a look at the Forex and indices markets, what happened this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly, what we can expect for the upcoming week. Iliya here, as always, really happy to see you tune in the Trading Fanatic channel. This was my first trading week and it didn't end amazing, so I'm having two little losses, so a total of 0.50% loss on my live account. And yeah, there were plenty of missed trades. We had like 2 days of complete consolidation. Monday, Tuesday, and Friday were the best days to trade. So hopefully you guys caught some profitable trades. In this video, I'm gonna show you the trades I took. But pretty much, I'm very happy for the first week of getting back after a long holiday, getting really back into the grooves, starting to get a feeling of the market. And yeah, I'm excited to be back and start trading again. So if you're new to this channel, it is all about trading. I share these weekly outlook and setups every Saturday. I'm going to be publishing more educational content, working on some great presentations, working on a great video series for you guys as well. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell in order not to miss when those come out. And enough of me ramping. We have a lot to cover. Let's jump into the video. Alright, as always, we're gonna kickstart it with a Dixie in order to get a feeling of where the dollar is coming. Very important CPI news release this week. So it came out on Thursday, I believe. Yep. And the market was shook out a little bit, right? Going up, going down. But you can see from the weekly candle on the Dixie that we have been pretty bearish, right? We opened, we didn't even make a wick to the upside, and then we just straight dropped to the downside, right? So again, going back to the fundamentals, United States with a 4.5% current interest rate, their inflation has been kind of looking like it's being tamed, right? But not really. I'm not sure why this, yeah, this is one of my favorite websites, but it hasn't yet updated the inflation. So it's still kind of on November. So maybe it's going to do that. But in terms of economic news releases next week, so we have a public holiday on Monday, so make sure to watch out for that. On Tuesday, we have some, yeah, plenty of kind of red and medium impact news, but nothing that is way too important, right? So I really like when we have such news that really kind of boost a little bit of volume into the market, but they're not like interest rates. Well, we have CPI for Canada. That is pretty important, but that is mainly gonna concern the CAD, right? And currencies linked to the CAD, right? So maybe the Dixie is gonna move a little bit, but the Dixie does not have a lot of CAD inside, right inside of its basket, so this one is not going to reflect that much. Again, Wednesday we have interest rate, monetary policy, and outlook report for the JPY, so Bank of Japan, in a press conference. So for the JPY traders, watch out on Wednesday. Then we have CPI for the GBP, very important as well. Retail sales for the US, so very good. Thursday, nothing much that I see very important. And then Friday, same thing as well, right there, retail sales for the GBP. So it looks like a pretty good week. I really like such weeks in which we do not have a lot of major news, but we still have some news in order to bring in some volume into the market to get our trades to TP. Right, so jumping into the technicals, the Dixie is right now falling into a pretty low category, pretty low zone, right? We have been here May 2022. And a mistake that I always say, guys, don't do is draw like supply and demand zones on the left, right? A lot of times they are going to give you a response, but the more you draw them, right? So we can draw one here, we can draw one here, we can draw one right there. You can see the market is always going to give you a little response, right? Maybe for a week, right? It gives you a week of response. Here we kind of had it already. Maybe this week we're gonna have a response, but then eventually it continues with the overall sentiment of the market. So don't draw too many zones on the left and trying to catch the bottom. Very bearish right now, so immediately dropping onto the daily time frame. So yeah, pretty much you can see Friday NFP, right, started with a massive bearish push, then Monday opened, continued that push, went on and made a new lower low as expected. And then, yeah, we have pretty much Tuesday and Wednesday chopping around, right? Not very great. Then we have Thursday CPI, boom, to the downside. And then Friday kind of started to, yeah, consolidate a little bit, right? So currently, yeah, we're bearish on the daily, we're bearish on the weekly, and we are bearish on the 4-hourly time frame. So what is your best bet? Well, it's to go short on the dollar, of course, right? So look at this price action, not ideal, right? So if we just mark the last structure break, which is right there, right? What is the supply? Well, we can mark it like this. Right, then if we actually zoom in to see what is happening right here, we had a little bit of a break right there. I personally do not like such breaks, right? So a break that actually wicks below and then immediately goes back up. So although I take wicks as breaks, right? I've received a lot of questions about this, and I'm soon gonna explain why I take wicks as breaks, right? These ones, I'm very mindful of them, right? Because it just breaks and then immediately breaks back in and closes massively bullish, right? So to me, I would still count this as my main range, right? You can see we actually pinged 50% and immediately rejected. But what we could have, right, a little situation that we could have is maybe this pullback is not enough and we can have a short-term like bullishness to take us a little bit into the highs, maybe into this supply zone, and then to get the short, right? So I'm not going to be doing 15-minute. We're going to do 15-minute on Tuesday. Hopefully I can go live on Tuesday if I figure out how to do so, right? And then we're going to have a look at it live, right? So pretty much sentiment on the Dixie is bearish, and I see two scenarios, right? We either continue from here, maybe give a little bit of a pullback and then continue make a new lower low, right? So this is our target right there, make a new lower low, and then of course adapt to it and keep following the structure down. Or the market finds like some sort of a demand somewhere right there, right? Fails to break below it and then starts to trend to the upside. Then if the market fails to break below this low, this immediately becomes target. Why? Well, because if this high fails to take a new low, then it becomes liquidity, it becomes weak, and then the market crushes through it, right? And then from here, we're going to have to adapt and see, okay, is the market going to stop somewhere right there, or is it going to drive all the way up? So those are the two situations I see on Dixie. Let's see how it plays out again. So let's focus on Monday, really kind of get the feeling of the market on Monday. And then of course, we're going to go forward from there. Stay tuned for my analysis on Tuesday, where we can actually go live and trade live for a little bit. All right, Euro USD on the weekly time frame, pretty much similar to the Dixie. We're having a very nice bullish engulfing candle right there. And again, going back to what I always preach, right? Dropping zones on the left, like even on the highest time frames, then saying, yes, we are in a weekly supply zone, we're going to drop. Well, the market gave you kind of 1 week of a big reaction and it's already crushing it. So what is the next thing we do? Is we drop this one, right? And then trying to catch the top from here. No, right? So I'm going to keep this one just in case. Why? Well, because this is where the market could potentially be driving towards, right? 1.10-ish, right? In order to then give us another reaction and then to potentially continue going higher, right? So we're definitely in a very big risk on sentiment right now. The risk on currencies like yeah, pretty much everything that is against the dollar is right now rising. We have indices, stocks as well starting to rise a little bit. We're getting into greed category right now in the Ethereum greed index. So yeah, we just keep following that sentiment, right? Dropping onto the daily, we had a break of structure right there. Yeah, pretty much the daily was a little bit hard to figure out. This to me right there was the main range that I wanted to see broken before we shift bearish to the daily. Right, and you can see we came in right there, reacted, came in again, and then Friday NFP gave us the push, and then Monday unfortunately went straight on to take out the high, which really sucked because personally I couldn't get any longs. And yeah, then you can see long day, long day, long day, long day, and then a little bearish day on Friday. So it has been great, right? Euro USD actually moved. Unfortunately, yeah, pretty much we had from Tuesday all the way towards Thursday CPI, we had a chop. Right, but even though we had a chop, there were some interesting setups to take, right? Unfortunately, they all missed me and we ended up taking some losses. Some members of my community actually took some wins on Friday, right? Friday was pretty good, but I'm gonna show you what I did. But if we just focus on what is happening right now, so we have a structure break right there, then you can see we start chop. So it's very questionable whether this one is a structure break as well. I do think so, yeah, because we kind of chopped around and then massively imposed. How do we draw our demand zone? Well, I'm gonna take something like this, although you can see this wick kind of went inside and then pushed up, so rather strange price action. We're already below 50%, which is really good, right? So if you actually drop on the 15-minute, right? So there was a short to be taken on Friday, which a member of my team took. We actually discussed this type of setup on Thursday on our webinar, and then immediately on Friday an opportunity like this occurred. And then you can see, yeah, we tap below 50%, the 50-minute aligns bullish, and then you get your long trade, and right now the market can potentially try to push up. So similar to the Dixie, I see two outcomes, right? Maybe this pullback right there is not enough in order to continue making new high. So in this case, the market is gonna break it, tap inside demand, give us an alignment right there, and then continue going higher, right? or maybe this one is enough. So maybe we get maybe a little pullback, then a lines, and then we continue and target the new high. Okay, so exactly the same analysis as the Dixie, right? We either from here, we either straight jump to take out the high, or the market will pull back a little bit, take this low as liquidity, and then to potentially fuel the move to the upside. So those are the two outcomes I see on EU. So let's see how it goes. And again, don't try to predict too much, especially on Saturday. Let's just wait for the market to open on Monday, and then we see what we have, right? So very quickly, I want to show you my trades from this week, which I'm not very happy with, but of course. So there's the first trade, which is a counter trend trade, right? So if I just quickly jump on the FOH, this is again why you do not look too much on the left, because we had a look like there was again here a daily zone, right? So we're tapping inside the daily zone. This is kind of a major daily lower high, and we thought, yeah, this one can give us a reaction. And again, just looking at this push from Friday, right? We again, if you draw such a zone on the left, but you're trading against the 4-hourly time frame, which we did this week. So for example, there is the break of structure low, there is the break of structure high. So what is the 4-hourly time frame doing right now? It's bullish, right? So you don't want to go short, but you want to go short if you want to catch a pullback. So that was the idea, to get the pullback and then to potentially align for longs. And yeah, so when do we know when the pullback is over? When the minor structure aligns bearish. So the minor structure aligned bearish. Yeah, it kind of aligned bearish a couple of times, but it didn't give us an entry. This is the first kind of real push. The market pulls back into supply and gave us an entry setup. So there is our entry setup. First, it gave a fake trend change, right? We know when to wait for liquidity, and then we enter after liquidity grabs and stuff. And there is my first trade right there. Took it from here, stop loss above, gave a reaction, and just boop, stop loss. Was looking for a re-entry, but fortunately, it did not provide, so it was only one loss from this supply zone, which is great. So that is Monday. Then going on to Tuesday, trying to catch the continuation longs after 2 missed trades. So let me show you what is happening right here. So we started chopping a lot right there, right? And we were still bullish, although we could have, like, depends on how you mark the ranges, you could have had like a little reversal right there, right? But then the market aligns bullish, pulls back during the Asian range, and as you can see, it starts to build up that bullish order flow right there, like push, pull back, hard low, hard high, hard low. Here we aligned internally, and this is where I started looking for longs. That one was a miss, pushed, pull back. That one was a miss, then we pushed, right? Pull back. And the third trade I took was the loss. Like, come on, man. So if I just go quickly on the 1 minute time frame. So there is the first push that aligned the 50-minute to bullish. The market comes in, grabs the liquidity, creates my trend change. There is my limit order for a 5 pip stop loss. Personally, like, I like to target 15 to 20 pips on EU, especially in current market conditions when it starts to range. So this one should have been only a 3-hour trade. Unfortunately, this one didn't kiss me, right? It went on, hit TP, then it came back again to the same level. But then I started to doubt, like, well, this one right there failed to continue higher, so maybe this one can become weak when we can start going lower. So I did not take it aggressively from here, as I should have had, which was my kind of my initial entry, right? I should have just kept it in, right? Because it was still valid. But then I said, no, I want to wait for a little bit of extra confirmation, so which is a structure break and a trend change. I waited for it. It came in right there, and I was like, yeah, okay, let's get my pullback. And EURUSD said goodbye, no pullback. So that is second missed trade for that day. There we have another structure break. The market comes in, aligns bullish, took the trade right there. We actually took it live with the community. We were doing a live stream on this trade, and we got a collective stop loss. So that was really painful. After 2 missed trades, we got a stop loss, but it is what it is. So that is Tuesday, and you can see pretty much not very nice tradable price action. Then Wednesday, no trading at all on Wednesday because we were stuck like in the, I think we were stuck in, yeah, we were stuck pretty much in this range, right? So you can see range, Asian range. Again, it just failed to break out all day, and just in New York, it broke out, but then it was already too late. Thursday, no trade during this madness. And then Friday was pretty good. We are bullish on the 4-hourly time frame, right? We broke structure up here, then we aligned bearish, so I was looking for shorts, but then we aligned bullish. We pulled back, right? And then this is a very strong supply zone, which forms the potential 4-hourly high. So this one was a short that I called actually, and a community member took. And yeah, so this is trade. Again, full honestly, I hesitated on it, right? So this is where the market aligned, and I didn't want to take it from here because I wanted to keep my stop loss like safe below this structure, right? So it started doing this like push, pull back, push, pull back, push, pull back, and then all of a sudden London Open just boom. Then I was like, oh, this one is gonna break. So I kind of wanted to give it maybe a little bit more time to come in right there, give me a candle of rejection, and then maybe to take it. But the market just kissed. It went to 5R. So that was the trade I really wanted to take. But again, my mistake, deviated from the plan, didn't execute as I should have, and skipped this beautiful trade. And then the market taps into this supply, grabs the liquidity, aligns bearish, pulls back again, 5 pip stop loss, 25 pips target, 5R. Beautiful kind of, it's not, yeah, counter trend trade, which later went on for quite a nice move to the downside, right? I think my guy actually kept some partials, but he took it at 5R. So yeah, this one would have been a pretty good trade. So yeah, unfortunately that's my week with the 2 losses and a couple of missed trades and one hesitated one. Again, betting, getting back to the grooves again, trying to keep the psychology in mind. And as I said to my team, this week is not about results. This week is about, this year is about performance. So focus on the plan, focus on performing well, and it's gonna pay out at the end. Let's have a look at Euro Yen. So weekly time frame, very nicely bearish. And again, we kind of tried very hard last week to try to read this market. And the weekly time frame is still bullish, right? We're still sitting inside this demand zone, although this demand zone has been like squeezed all the way down, and we are just about to break it. So came in, responded first, came in, responded again, came in, responded again. So it's just taking out all the volume from that demand zone, and it's potentially right now about to break it. Because as shouted out last week, we were bearish on the daily time frame. So as you can see here, we have a break of structure down. The market came in all the way up, but did not break above the major lower high, right? And right now with 2 days, it's just heading straight to the downside, about to be making a new daily lower low. And if this daily lower low is made, we're just about to break also that weekly zone, which is gonna turn Euro Yen into a bearish market pair on the weekly time frame, right? So that is pretty major in my opinion. So then dropping onto the 4-hourly time frame, well, this week I told you like this is in the middle of nowhere. So if you want to really look for shorts, then wait for the market to cleanly align to the downside and then start looking for the shorts. Else try to follow it until we reach this zone, right? It wasn't amazing. We had a push, like we tapped inside the supply, we got a reaction, so you could have maybe even taken along from here, and then we just started very slowly to kind of slide into this zone, right? Slide, and then we get right there, and then all of a sudden on Wednesday, like I think we had something probably with the JPY, we just boom, bearish engulfing candle, and since then it just kept dropping. And of course Thursday CPI also sent this market down as well, right? So pretty much we have been bearish all the time on this one, remember? Yeah, actually, even if I'm really precise with my rules, this here is the major 4-hourly lower high, right? Because these ones are not major to me and according to my rules, and this one actually maintained to the pip, right? So very nice. So how you could have gotten in? Well, probably waiting on the 50 minutes. So again, you can see the 50-minute bullish, boom, alignment bearish, and this is where you can potentially be looking to get in, although it's a little bit late, right? So I don't think you're going to be trading around that time. And then potentially your next bet is to follow these kind of continuations here on the 15, right? So let me know if any of you took any shorts on the yen pairs. Right now, very hard to read. Right, so what I'm going to be looking for is for any sort of pullback. Unfortunately, it's we don't have like a clean range because this is still the range we're trading into, right? And we don't have any kind of 4-hourly lower highs and lower lows. It's just a straight drop. So any sort of pullback is going to be good. But again, I don't have the ability to forecast where it's going to pull back to, right? So any sort of pullback is welcome in order to take a short. So a 4-hourly pullback will be good because that is going to turn the 50-minute to bullish. So in the 50-minute goes bullish, right? And then hopefully taps into this, or hopefully taps into these little wicks right there. Then it aligns bearish, and that's when you can actually jump on the continuations and travel with this pair towards the week low right there. So that's Euro Yen, very bearish, expecting for it to achieve this target and to make a new lower low. So let's see how this one goes, and hopefully you guys can catch up some shorts on the JPY pairs. Next on the list are the Aussies, starting from Aussie dollar. Very nice bullish week, similar to all the other pairs, and we are once again, I don't want to do this, but we're once again tapping deeper into this weekly supply zone, right? So We're also grabbing some liquidity. So there is liquidity above this week. There is liquidity above that week right there as well. So we're getting into a pretty nice area of 0.70, right? All the way up to 0.71 and 0.7050. So a very nice, strong area right there to potentially maybe start expecting some shorts. But again, don't expect too much. Just go with the flow, right? Aussie dollar gave a little bit of a trickery on the daily time frame because it kind of made this all 1, 2, 3 pushes, then it aligned bearish right there on the daily, right? But once again, do you have any kind of zone right there? Well, yes, you have a daily zone, so you could have taken a couple of shorts, right? Because then the daily aligns bearish, then you ask the question, what is the zone that aligned the daily to bearish? It's this one, right? Came in, response, right? But yeah, then pretty much you can see, oh, that is even last week, right? So this is the trickery. You could have taken a couple of shorts. Friday NFP, push, Monday, bank, right? So we shifted the daily to bullish once again. Oops, right there. And yeah, so Monday was bullish. Then you can see Tuesday and Wednesday, a little bit of a chop. Thursday CPI push, and then Friday kind of a little bit of indecision. So very tough to read right now. I would take this one as a daily break and then mark this one as my major daily higher low formation. I'm gonna do this for a reason, because I want to see a more recent shift. So we don't want to be waiting for this one to break, right, in order to align bearish on the daily. So I would say that this is our major higher low. It's actually valid. We have two pullback candles right there. And then if we go to the 4-hourly time frame, we chopped around right there, push up, pulls back, reacts. Okay, so we are still bullish on the 4H, bullish on the daily. I would love for it to take even this one, but this one could actually be a very strong. Again, we do not draw levels on the left. I'm just kind of trying to find to read a little bit and make sense of price. So this one is a very strong supply zone that we're currently responding, but it would be even better if we actually take it out as liquidity, right? So what I would love to see happen right now is for Aussie dollar to actually maintain this bullish bias that we have right now, push up, make a new high right there, and even go and take out this high right there. After we do this, if we align bearish, then that could be a very high probability short. However, I don't want to be calling shorts because we're just simply having this risk on sentiment. All the pairs are bullish. Aussie dollar is bullish. So why would we look for shorts and try to forecast shorts, right? So this is pretty much my outlook though. This is what I would expect like ahead of time, right? So currently I see two situations similar to EU. We just break above on Monday and then we see what is going to happen, or we give a little bit of a pullback down and then the 50-minute line is bullish and then we can take a beautiful long. So that will be very good, but as you can see, the 15-minute is already aligning bullish and already kind of making a little bit of a structure to the upside, although it's a little bit slow. So I wouldn't really expect it to go all the way down. Definitely possible to go all the way down, but yeah, just looking at it, it could throw like a little bit of a sharp spike down and then sharply start pushing high towards the liquidity areas. So this is Aussie. Right, this is Aussie. This is kind of my forecast. We're in a very key zone right now. Although once again, what we should usually do, right, is delete all of these red stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. Just give you a lesson. Delete all that stuff. Where is the last structure break? Right there. Where is the last demand zone? Right there. What is the market doing? Bullish. What do? We long. Simple. Right, and then as the market breaks right here, then this becomes your major higher low. Then the market all of a sudden breaks down and you're like, okay, reversal down. So that's when we can start looking for shorts, and it goes as simple as that. No need to draw stuff on the left, right? So that's Aussie. Let's see what happens. Stay tuned for Tuesday. Aussie JPY, I immediately see some bearishness. Weekly time frame bearish coming into weekly supply, right? Daily time frame. Okay, so what did I tell you about this one? So very happy it played out. This high failed to make a new low. So what it becomes liquidity. Monday opens, bingo, takes it out. And then we chopped right there for 3 days before we made that Thursday drop and Friday continuation. So right now we can say it is safe to say that we could be driving towards the lower low right there, right? So any sort of pullback right now on the 4-hourly time frame is going to be good. Yeah, it was only NZD-JPY that actually aligned bullish. So this is still the range, right? This is the major lower high. This is the major lower low. All of this is internal. We came in all the way up to actually retest the major lower high right there, and we gave a short. So again, guys, let me know if you did this. Like if you simply actually did this, right, you would have been running a very good trade, right? And yeah, if we just look at the internal structure, so we can say that it aligned right there. And yeah, unfortunately, it's just a straight drop, right? So what I would say is you wait for any sort of a pullback, try to short, then wait for a new lower low, and then try to catch it from that new lower high being created, right? So this is pretty much my plan. I cannot forecast where it's gonna go, what it's gonna do. It's massively pushing, so it can do many things. We have 2 4-hourly candles of pullback right now, which is pretty good. So a 4-hourly lower high could be forming. So watch out for this, right? And try to align shorts, which goes with the weekly, daily, and even 4-hourly time frame. Let's have a look at the NZDs, which are slightly bit different than the Aussies, because if you remember, like Aussie dollar is currently tapping inside this kind of supply zone, while NZD USD is already violated it, right? And it's retesting like this little guy on the left. So it already gave us a reaction, and it looks like right now it's just gonna blast through the roof and continue going bullish. So technically we are kind of bullish on NZD/USD. Then dropping onto the daily time frame. So if we just follow the structure very quickly, we had a break of structure up, then the market aligned down, pulled back, lower high, lower low, break of the last lower high, creating a higher high, and right now we are aligned bullish on the daily. So that is also pretty key. This is the last daily alignment. This is the last daily demand zone if you just mark it out like this. And then dropping onto the 4-hourly time frame, this is where it gets a little bit sketchy, is because we have this kind of thing right there. And yeah, we kind of broke above it right there. So what actually caused the break? Well, it's these kind of wicks, and we're already retesting the wicks and trying to push up. So NZD/USD, very tricky. Very tricky. I see a couple of scenarios. So again, similar to the other pairs, we can just continue on and climbing on, right? Immediately going for the new high, then we align, right? What is the new higher low? It's this one, then we keep longing, right? Or maybe this one again fails to gather some steam to go to the upside, shifts bearish on the 4H, comes into the daily demand zone, and then from here aligned bullish on the 4-hourly time frame, and then we can go long again, right? So those are the two scenarios, kind of long-term scenarios that I see on NZD/USD. But if that sentiment goes on, right, and if for example the Dixie flushes, Euro/USD goes up, Aussie goes up, this one is immediately gonna follow as well, and it's not gonna go and break below. What it could break below, what I'm currently like the main question for all the pairs, is if this low is gonna break, right? We have that same low on Aussie dollar, that is right there. We have that same low on Euro/USD, yeah, which is pretty much, this is the demand zone, this is the low, so are we gonna go up? But Euro/USD looks slightly bit different because it's already starting to kind of align very nicely bullish. So again, let's not try to forecast way too much, let's just see what happens on Monday. But this is how I see personally NZD/USD, right? Those are my two outcomes. I'm gonna be personally looking to take a long if I was trading this pair. So again, stick to the 4-hourly time frame until you're wrong. But that's pretty much what I do. You might also listen to the hard time frames. It's your plan. Break of structure up right there on the weekly time frame on NZD/JPY, then very nice push to the downside. And it's slightly bit questionable. Do we have like a weekly alignment down here? Well, not alignment, but a break of structure down. Or do we have it right there? Again, this is according to your plan. Do you consider this to be a major higher low? Or is this your major higher low? Right? To me, I would take this one. I like to take more recent ones. This one was also a nice kind of a lot of people call flip zones. So you have a supply on the left, the market responds, and then it flips up, which means that there were a lot of sellers coming in from this zone, but they failed to push, and then buyers prevailed, which then makes this a pretty strong area, which later got broken, right? Similar to AJ, this came all the way up towards the daily lower high, right? We have a break of structure down, daily lower high, massive flush lower, already towards breaking the new lower low, and even going for this potential weekly liquidity area. So very bearish, and unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna have an opportunity on this one because it's already towards the lower low. So I get first thing it opens, it breaks the low, right? After it breaks the low, it's all about adapting and just having a look what is gonna happen. Is it gonna continue dropping? Is it gonna start forming a new market structure? Second thing, which is gonna be a good one, is to initiate some sort of a pullback, right? We do not know where it's gonna stop. How do we know where it's gonna stop? Is when the 50-minute line is bearish, and then we can start looking for the shorts as well. So that's NZD-JPY. Again, any pullback is welcome, and if you get any pullback, then try to short it, because again, this pair is very nicely bearish. USD-JPY continuing to extend its losses. Very, very, very nice bearish engulfing candle. Well, pretty much similar to the DXY, right? So what we can do about this one is, again, use it as a confluence for all the JPY pairs that we're trading, and this is why they're all right now crushing to the downside, because USD-JPY is like the DXY but for the JPY pairs, right? Similar thing right there, right? Although you can see right here a very nasty spike above this daily lower high, right? And then at the end of the day, it actually ended up going down. So the daily time frame is aligned bearish. So this is the only drawback, that sometimes if you take wicks as breaks, then you can say, okay, well, this is a break, right? Then this is my higher low and I'm bullish, right? But what you can see happens is that the market actually comes into the higher low, gives you a response, but then again, sellers prevail, and then they drop. And this is again an Euclidean example of flip zone, which what I just showed you on NZD-JPY, right? So this one right now is definitely bearish. This is our major lower high formation dropping onto the 4-hourly time frame. It is again just sliding to the downside. So as I said, all the JPY pairs, they're kind of extended to the downside, but the majority of them, like, well, not the majority, all of them, like EJ, AJ, NJ, they're traveling towards a lower low. But you can see UJ already crushed it, right? So you can take little zones like this, like little bases right there. This is drop, base, drop, right? Kind of supply and demand. So if you pull back towards this kind of zone, then you can drop on the 50-minute time frame and look for alignment, right? But again, I would just suggest that you just follow the flow, right? The market is beautifully bearish. Don't try to catch the bottom right now. Don't try to go on the left and say, oh, look at that beautiful demand zone, I'm gonna long this market big time. Sure, again, as I keep saying, it can give us a beautiful reaction, right? So this, we're just tapping inside the zone, so it can give us like a nice reaction, and then even maybe it's gonna get the market to 50% and even more, right? But then eventually it's gonna break. So keep those zones if you wish, but don't try to like go against them way too hard. So again, bias is shorts on USD-JPY. Any opportunity that you get for shorts is a high probability one. Let's look at USD CAD. So weekly time frame, bearish candle, kind of having a little bit of a rejection from the downside, but it looks like an overall indecision, right? So we know that this one is having like this very major demand zone, and it also has this very major demand zone, and pretty much the major weekly range is, yeah, we can draw it like this, right? So we pull back towards 50% and below it, try to react, but failed to take out the high. So again, as I said, we have two outcomes. We are either right now pulling back to grab a little bit of liquidity before explosion, or we're going to get deep liquidity by breaking this low, right? So those are the two kind of macro scenarios that I see. If you drop on the daily time frame, this one is tough, right? So we could have aligned bullish right there. So it depends whether you take this as your major lower high, depending on how you draw structure, or you also took this one, because if you took that one, you have a bullish break, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, shift down right there, and then it pulls back towards kind of these kind of levels right there, and then right now it's aligning bearish. So both scenarios are bearish, right? So we're definitely bearish on UCAT, and I can see that we have a very recent break right there, which probably aligns the 4-hourly to bearish. But again, if you just have a look at the overall price action this week from Monday kind of pushed down, and then it just not very clean, right? We had a break of structure down right there. So if I just mark it out like this, and then we have, yeah, this is tough, because look what we have. We also have another break right there. And then technically for me, this is a little reversal sign right there. And then I usually take this one and try to go against it. Okay. Tricky. All right. Tricky stuff. If I was trading UCAD right now, I would personally give it some time, because we're going to have a battle right now between supply and demand. Again, remember, high time frame, well, yeah, daily is bearish. We could potentially be traveling towards here, but also what I said, one of the weekly scenarios is that like the market failed to take out the high from here. So it pulls back to grab a little liquidity, and then right now it can start expanding. Okay, but as long as the DXY goes down, I don't think this one is gonna get the power. So this pair to me is a little bit 50-50, right? But again, to me, the 4-hourly has aligned bullish right now, so I'm gonna be looking for the market to come in, then align bullish on the 50-minute time frame. And if this happens, then I would be taking longs if I was trading USD CAD, right? So let me know, guys, what you think of UCAD. I'm personally seeing it a little bit of as a kind of a range. We liquidated below the range, also above the range. It's kind of a little bit of a manipulation right there, maybe accumulation going on. So I would personally wait on it. But again, according to my rules, the 40 time frame has aligned bullish right now. So if we come inside this level, I will be looking for longs. So let me know if you are on the same page as me. Next on the list are the GBPs. Let's see what do we have right there. So again, remember next week we're having some major news for the pound, CPI, retail sales, and some other stuff about the pound. So if you're trading it, make sure to be aware of that. We already covered the news on the DXY. So if you didn't watch this, make sure to do so. Here we're having an overall weekly violation of the last supply zone, right? And we kind of went above it. Right now we responded and it looks like a higher low formation. And this week we tried to kind of start the move to the upside, but it's very weak, right? So then if we drop to the daily time frame, so what we have is a daily breakup, a daily breakdown, and then we kind of started rolling down, pulls back, lower high, lower low. This looks like a lower high, lower low, boom, break above. And even here we have like a slight break above as well. So the pound is starting to align overall bullish, although you can see again that same kind of choppy price action. Monday started with a nice push, and then we have like a Tuesday and Wednesday chopping around, and Thursday with the CPI made this impulse up, and right now we're trading in this kind of, yeah, it's just not nice, right? It's not a good market structure to be trading into, especially when you have huge wicks like this. But again, structure is structure, right? So we broke above. This is a higher high. This is a pullback, higher low formation. And right now, similar to all the other pairs, this one will be trying to take out. We actually took out this high by a little bit, but then straight reverse. So I'm just going to keep it like this, right? So again, I see two scenarios on this one. We either just break up right now and then form a new higher low from which we can continue following the trend, or this pullback was not enough in order to fuel a move higher. So we pull back, take this low as liquidity, or maybe stop somewhere in the middle, and then it explodes from here. So those are my two potential outcomes on the pound. Again, watch out for Monday, align with the market, flow with it, and let's see what's going to happen. I'm not going to be doing 50-minute right now because I do not do 50-minute on Saturday and Sunday, right? Because that's intraday and you just don't know how Monday is going to open. And yeah, it makes no sense to be analyzing the lower time frames on the weekend, if of course you're not just marking up charts and backtesting. So GJ, a very nice drop candle to the downside. Again, keeping in mind we're still overall weekly bullish on this one, pulling back all the way down, gave a response from that weekly demand level, but then yeah, right now it looks like it wants to crush below this. And again, similar to all the JPY pairs that we covered so far, right? It has a daily supply zone. It came inside, tapped it, and right now it's about to be breaking the new. It's about to be making a new daily lower low and breaking the previous low. In terms of hourly, like, yeah, slightly bit questionable. What is the actual range? Is it like really this one? Do we have like any hourly alignments bullish right there? Chop for a little bit right there. It actually did not take out this high, so it straight kind of created a double top and then massive drop to the downside without a stop. So once again, as I keep saying, the JPY pairs are not a very good bet right now, especially starting from Monday, because all of them are nicely pushing down. All of them are very low towards making a new lower low. So I guess we can just straight head to the lower low on market open, or luckily, if we get like a little pullback, but again, we do not know where the pullback is going to stop, then we can wait for like a 15-minute alignment right there to bearish, and then we can continue dropping lower. Okay, so this is pretty much my outlook on all the JPY pairs. All of them are bearish. We just need to get into a short setup somehow. So let's see if it provides, and let's see what we can do on Tuesday. In the current risk-on sentiment and the DXY just plummeting from the skies, we have gold emerging as a very nice commodity and a very nice asset to be holding right now, right? Again, coming back to the major quarterly analysis, we pulled back towards the 50%. We chopped for a little bit right there. We started then slowly aligning bullish, right, on the daily time frame, and then since then we have been very nicely impulsing up, right? So, you know, I do not trade gold, right? I'm just looking at it like this in order to, yeah, judge where the commodity market is going overall. But you can see overall daily breaks everywhere, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And this week, again, Monday kind of started slow. Yeah, this week was pretty slow until Thursday. So until Thursday, CPI came in very, very bullish on gold. And then that same sentiment kept going on Friday as well. Dropping onto the 40 time frame, I think right now it's very good for like momentum traders on gold that are looking for like breakouts and stuff like this. I don't know how to trade gold personally. I don't think it works great with my strategy. So here we have a breakout structure up. For me, like this is the higher low demand. The market taps inside, reacts massively. Right now we have a new breakout structure up. This was my higher low demand that actually tapped inside and then broke. So what I can do is I can just enlarge it and keep it like this, right? So currently I would say that this is my range, right? So if we happen to pull back towards right there, I'm going to be looking for a lower time frame alignment and then potentially looking to just keep longing this commodity until it stops, right? So again, don't go on the left right now, because yeah, we can go on the left and say, all right, so there was a supply zone not respected, then there is the next one, right? So that you can take this one, which could act as a potential target, right? So let's say 1950 is where we can potentially forecast gold. So we have what is it, like 300 pips or 30, yeah, 300 maybe. I don't know how the pip range works on gold, but yeah, overall bullish. This is how the 40 time frame looks like for me. So looking to just follow the higher lows and higher highs and to see if we can catch something. Let me know how you gold traders are doing right now. Are you catching those continuations? Are you managing to capitalize on this massive uptrend, or are you actually physically buying gold or maybe buying gold ETFs? Let me know, right? I personally was thinking down there to start buying gold ETFs, but I was like, yeah, I don't want to be buying commodities. I better put it in stocks. But yeah, you can see gold right now played out to be a very good investment, which I'm going to be knowing for sure in the future. All right, let's have a look at the major indices starting from US 30. We're having a very nice bullish week right now. The indices are moving quite nicely right now, like compared to Forex that is ranging. It's a little bit uncertain. Indices have been going on very nicely, in fact. So yeah, very tricky, especially like US 30 after we tapped into this zone. Again, the market is right now actually looking bullish, right? And it's not looking, it's actually bullish right now. But again, in terms of the macro, the macro perspective, then we can be expecting a drop anytime soon. And again, it's I think the past 2 years have been amazing because we suffered like the COVID crash, we suffered extremely bullish markets, and then we suffer right now a very nice correction that is caused by like inflation, the war, and all of this stuff. So there is a lot to learn, right? What takes investors to learn like for 10 years, we learned like for 2-3, right? Which is amazing. In terms of the daily time from US 30, after tapping into this very major zone, the daily aligned bearish, and right now we're tapping inside this bearish supply zone. So I think pretty soon we're about to see whether this one is just going to continue driving higher, or is this daily zone actually going to get respected. All right, 40 time frame, very nicely bullish. So as you can see, since we exited right there, this consolidation, we pull back, higher low formation, push, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right, on Friday. So very good structure, very good structure. There is the last break, there is the demand zone that actually got respected. So right now what you do is you find the new one. The new one is rather big, so we can look to kind of maybe take it as a wick somewhere. Nah, it's not. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for, right? Just to make it a little bit smaller. So yeah, currently like we broke up. So if we happen to pull back towards the zone, then you can be looking for long trades, right? But let's see, it is probably going to be targeting this high right now as liquidity. And then after this one is taken, there is nothing else to take in order for this daily supply to work. So very, very, very curious next week, if we take out this high, what is going to happen, right? I personally want the indices to drop, of course, so I can buy some stocks. I bought some tech stocks this week because they were like a little bit low and they're starting to recover, which is good. All right, so let's see. Right, let's see. I'm bullish on US 30 right now. There were some beautiful trades to be taken this week, so make sure to go backtest, and I'm going to be backtesting US 30 more because I plan to trade it, add it to my Euro USD arsenal. So let's see. Nasdaq as well, right? Daily time frame. Daily time frame is a bit, yeah, kind of questionable due to this little pullback. So is this pullback valid in order to say right now that the daily is bullish? You can still see that we are, in terms of like the weekly, this is the weekly push. All of this is internal. So this market could be pulling back potentially to grab more liquidity, because here it tried to push, it failed. It tried to push again, it failed. So right now, if it actually fails, it's going to be coming to target this high right there, right? So 40 time frame is definitely bullish, right? So we where did we align? Yeah, we aligned somewhere right there. Push, pullback, higher low, higher high. And yes, right now, I would personally be careful right now trading, especially after the CPI. But the market is just looking very nicely bullish, so we can definitely look to long. And yeah, like you can see, for example, US 30 is already close to that level, and you can see the tech stocks are always going a little bit smaller. They're always behind, right? So watching out for that as well. But also like short-term bullish on Nasdaq. If we happen to pull back towards this zone, I will be then dropping to a lower time frame and looking to go long. And probably similar on S&P. S&P has been recovering very, very nicely, but again, right now we're tapping into this big boy, which is which is like the weekly zone. But again, similar thing we have right there. If we actually look into it, this is the break, and pretty much this is the range we're trading into. The market kind of tapped 50%, reacted, tapped this, reacted, but it's still failing to break, right? So this still maintains. So this is everything right there is a shorting area technically. Right, so is the market just playing games right now, kind of throwing a little bit of recovery in order to grab liquidity and then drop? Or is it recovering? Well, I'm pretty much still on the short side. So the daily aligned bearish here. Right now, it's pulling back towards that daily supply, very similar to what US 30 is doing right now. There is a potential liquidity point that we can be targeting, right? So yeah, Fowley is bullish right now, so you can be following the Fowley time frame short term, right, towards the highs. But again, I will be mindful where we are on the macro, because I mainly position, yeah, I just invest in those, right? So it's always good to know where it's gonna short, where it's gonna long, so you can actually buy at the right time. You know, a lot of people saying you cannot time the market, but with proper technical analysis, you can at least increase the odds of you getting at a low point, which can then eventually bring you a better average price of your holdings and make you more profits. So that's S&P. Once again, looking for a pullback and then a potential continuation. So let's see, right? Let's see. Very interesting times ahead. So looking to see what's going to happen. Bitcoin and crypto, I mean, well, what is happening, right? We are very massively jumping higher, retesting right now this weekly supply. So this is the last break of structure. We're into weekly supply, and you can see we're already starting to throw a little bit of a recovery. Well, not a recovery, it's just a reaction. So yeah, it just jumped from 15 all the way to 20K. I think this is probably liquidating a lot of short sellers that are heavily onto the shorts, right? And it pretty much does this, right? So you can see here we also chopped, we started pushing up, then we went down. Right here, another push went down. Here, another push can eventually went down, right? It always throws like nice waves up before it goes down. So this is probably like liquidating. And maybe again, if you also have a look at the fear and greed index for crypto, it's probably right now getting into greed. Right, I actually forgot to show you the S&P, but we're moving into a greedy territory right now. Previous close 57, current close 63, jumping again above the 125 MA, right, coming into extreme greed. So that is pretty good, right? That is pretty good. So we can be expecting like a pullback anytime soon, right? So crypto, rather strange. I am not, I have very little. I have not invested right now in crypto from down there. I'm just still like monitoring, looking for it, but yeah, very good to see like crypto, Ethereum, probably all the altcoins are as well going up. But again, I'm waiting for Ethereum still to be taking this low before I consider buying anything, right? So just patiently waiting. And yeah, let's see. I'm very curious to see if this one is a kind of a liquidity spike to grab some orders, right? You can see this one is actually retesting the daily supply and the weekly supply. So by no any means this one is bullish. So guys, don't go FOMO, but let me know what you think about this crypto rally right there. Maybe a lot of you are interested in into crypto. Let me know if you got any info on that. But yeah, pretty much this is how I'm gonna be wrapping it up for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the analysis. Make sure to tune in on Tuesday. We're gonna be doing a live, hopefully, if I figure it out. Let me know what is your watch list, what you're looking for the week ahead, what did you trade this week as well, what is your performance. Let's keep each other accountable. I wish you a lovely weekend if you're watching this in the weekend, and I wish you a crushing week ahead. The year is just starting, so let's start smashing it.